What's good, y'all? It's this time of the week again. It is again discussing should summon or should you better stay the hell away from those banners. And as usual, we are going to make it the quickest, the fastest, and I'm going to give you as much information as possible. So let's get straight into it. We're going to start with obviously the most obvious banner being special ancient summonings. So for the special ancient summons, it is a very, very simple decision. If you have any ancients, you better summon them here, simply because of this dude right here. If you don't use your chance to get your hands on Uridin, then you're going to really, really miss out. Number one, his range. He's a fighter, so you can just place him on the ground, place the tank in front, and he can hit in front of the tank. Number two, just imagine him as a fusion between Vjörna and Hatzet. We all know Vjörna and Hatzet are one of the, if not the strongest heroes in the entire game, and man's just a fusion out of the two of them. His kit is very complex, very ridiculous, and at the end of the day, he's strong. Too strong, alright? So, use your ancients for this banner. Cyrus, on the other hand, amazing tank, amazing lord benefit, and one of the few lords that actually are worthy for you to actually place down. Furthermore, he has a 4-tile range, as well as AoE damage, and obviously his summon shenanigans. So, not only is he strong, but he also has a very, very unique kit with crazy range, and a really nice Lord bonus that synergizes well with his summons and especially Laurel. So yeah, even if you don't get Uridin but you get a Cyrus, you're still winning out in the end. And Pelagius over here, in comparison to the other two, he's not as pronounced, but especially once you have a take a look at the reviews over here, as you can see, he's pretty much dominating anywhere that's not specifically single target content, and that's for a reason. Man is a AoE beast. Man is the AoE beast, and that's about as much as I need to say. So, special ancient summons. You got any ancients, summon them. If you can get any of those three, would be perfect, and obviously Uridin with highest priority. Good luck on that banner, and honestly no reason not to summon here now. Now they want our blue summons. There's actually 3 banners for blue summons and a single one for the divine. So the divine one is this one over here, crazy divine summoning, 2 times drop rate for divines. So my opinion on divines is always either on a 2 times banner or a 2 times and 10 times banner. Using divines on a 10 times banner, so without a 2 times, is a crime, because you're going down from a 12% chance all the way down to a 6% chance. So take your 12% chance, use your divines if you want to use them, and if not, save them for another 2 times, 10 times. But keep in mind, we had ours just a couple, basically we had it on Christmas, right? So it's reasonable to expect it to take a bit until we can get the next 2 times, 10 times. But if you want to hold on to your divines until then, sure, feel free to do so. But if you're still in the progress of building your account and collecting more legendary heroes, and at the end of the day you just want to summon, feel free to summon there. It's definitely not a mistake. Alright, now the 3 different banners. Banner number 1, pretty simple. No raid ups, no specialties, just 2 times increased legend rate. So you go in, you summon, you have a 1% chance for legendary instead of a 0.5% chance. Obviously, we get to the gist of it later. So, and then we have the 1+1 banner. So 0.5% legend rate, you pull a legendary hero, you get another legendary hero on top. One-off offer, right? And the third one is going to be, during the event, the first legendary hero you summon is guaranteed to be an unowned one. Alright? So that's the 3 conditions. Number 1, 1% legend rate. Number 2, 0.5% legend rate, but you get 2 if you pull a legendary. And number 3, 0.5% legend rate, but it is a legendary that you just don't happen to have. Now, the biggest question, what to do? Honestly, you have to look at your summons. If you're free to play or don't want to spend, don't feel the need to spend, all that good stuff, and you aren't close to pity, nor do you get close to pity with the summons you've saved up. If you want to summon on the 2 times banner, flat out. If you don't want to summon, just save him. If you're closer to pity or willing to spend until you get to pity, that's where the interesting part comes in. Because at that point, then there's only 2 banners to choose from. Number 1, obviously the 1+1, and number 2, the unowned one. Now the question, how do you decide between 1+1 and unowned one? And also, that's going to be one of the more interesting things. the unowned one obviously sounds really, really nice, but I don't think a lot of people talk about this, and I feel like I gotta say this one. There's this achievement, alright? Lord of Legends, and it tells you to own 30 different legendary heroes. But owning legendary heroes doesn't mean you just have to have them in the gallery. So for me, because I wanted to sell a soulstone, I sold 4 different legendaries, which is why I technically had 34 different legendary heroes, but I only got my 30 after I had all of them actually under my hero tab right here. So it is unconfirmed, but just because you have a lot of heroes in the gallery doesn't mean that you can't just get a Shamir. I've already asked them at Moonton to give me an answer, but for the moment you gotta take this with a lot of caution. For example, for me, if you go to rarity, and we scroll all the way down, as you can see, there is no Shamir here, right? Let me move myself. There is no Shamir in this hero roster, but there is a Shamir in my gallery. And chances are that for this banner, even though I technically own Shamir, it doesn't count him as an owned champion, which would put him back into the unowned category. And for that one, I'll just make a quick cut here, tally up all my heroes, and then give you the scenario between heroes I actually own and heroes I really own. Alright, now back onto the problem at hand. Furthermore, important disclaimer, you can't get ancient heroes, nor can you get exclusive heroes. So from the exclusive heroes, obviously no Gwendolyn, no Falchia, no Reeves, and from the ancients, pretty much all Chaos Dominion and Arbiter faction heroes besides Cerberus and Valeria, and obviously Volcra and Constance, but you get what I mean, right? So everyone exclusive to ancients is exclusive to ancients, and every limited hero is still limited. So now, especially for me, the problem becomes really obvious. If we're not counting heroes in my hero faction, so if we just go by gallery, I would only be missing Arrogance, Valeria, Kineza, Orym, Kai and Kriya, and Leia. Right? So 7 heroes. I would only be missing 7 heroes, and out of those 7, Leia, Arrogance, Valeria would obviously be pretty good, and Kineza, Orym, Kai, Kriya would all be disappointments. But at the end of the day, it is still only 3 versus 4. So if we assume equal rates, even though it is kind of hard to assume equal rates if you take a look at the notice. So if you go to event notice, scroll all the way down, you see a text over here that says the total drop rates of heroes with the same rarity remain the same as the invocation of spirits. So that might hint at shifted rates, even though you only have a certain amount of legendaries to pull. But back to the problem at hand. Now, if we actually add in the heroes that I've pulled, but I don't have in my hero tab anymore because I sold them for, be it ancients, one of those refinement things to get a 25 Crystal of Vilnath, or for my Salazar Soulstone, then I would need to add in a Volcra, Azor, and Shamir. So out of a technically 3 versus 4, it could be a 3 versus 7. So from almost a 40% chance going down to pretty much a 30% chance, with then 70% chance of it being bad stuff. So you really gotta be careful with this one, and you gotta keep this one in mind, especially if you've sold a lot of heroes to the shop. So what you would want to do is hold back a bit, or as long as you can, because this event goes on for 2 days, and try to figure out, is it actually unowned ones or is it gallery ones, and just don't like headlong rush into it, right? And at the end of the day, if we look at it, for me, it's basically, if you don't count all those unowned problems and owned problems, it would be 3 good heroes versus 4 bad heroes. So around a 40 to 35% chance for me of getting something good. And if you compare that to just getting 2 random legendaries out of all the legendaries there are, I would probably go with the New Year special summon that gives you 1 unowned one. At the end of the day, it really depends on how many heroes are you missing, how good is the quality of the heroes you are missing, and how likely are you to get a crap hero. And honestly, I would say if your chances to get a good hero are anything below probably 25%, then this New Year special summon really isn't worth it, because it's only a 0.5% chance for one single legendary, compared to a 0.5% chance to get at least two legendaries from the crazy invocation of spirits 1+1, or even just a normal crazy invocation of spirits that gives you a 1% drop rate. So as my tip, if your chance of getting a good hero, if you tally out the good heroes versus the bad heroes, so the would you be disappointed versus you would be happy with heroes, if you end up with below 25% chance, or probably even below 30% chance, you should stay away from the unowned banner one. And honestly, also something that isn't clarified is how big is actually the odds for you to get lords out of this. Obviously, those lords are included. For me, it's a bit of a special case because I'm only missing Leia, but that's also not really determined, right? Because if you're still hoping for lords, it might be that the lord odds are still super super small in comparison to all the other heroes, right? So the drop rates wouldn't be completely fair. But yeah, that's going to be my approach. And yeah, I keep a lookout. I try to figure out if it is unowned or heroes in gallery, and based on that, I make my decision. Because honestly, I don't mind missing out the 1+1. So I personally will miss out on the 1+1 and see what the New Year special summon entails. Because honestly, getting an unowned hero is obviously very attractive, but it is really account circumstance wise. So you gotta take a good look at your account, take a slower approach, and then figure out, is it gallery or is it not gallery. Once you have that one figured out, that's easy. And again, compared to that one, ancients are super easy. Just summon them. Honestly, no matter if you get any of those, it's great. It's a raid up, and 2 times ancients haven't existed yet, and unless they bring out 2 times ancients and scam all the people that summoned any ancients in the time before, 10 times spam, that's the best you can do on ancients. So on that note, hope that was helpful, and see ya in the next one.